By the end of its live service, Star Wars Battlefront 2 had developed what many consider the best and most authentic lightsaber combat in any video game. A key factor in its success was the fluidity of the system and how faithfully every hero and villain's fighting style mirrored their on-screen counterparts. Yet this wasn't always the case. Battlefront 2 underwent several key changes and improvements throughout its life cycle, resulting in a more dynamic, strategic, and enjoyable system. Through removing the stagger mechanic, adjusting character stats, and implementing a parry feature, the lightsaber combat became far more skill-based and authentic. In this video, I want to examine the lightsaber combat of Battlefront 2, discuss its versatility, the authenticity of individual heroes, and the major changes that shaped the mechanic. Battlefront 2 boasts the most robust lightsaber combat system to date, excelling in everything from large conquests to intense one-on-one duels. In large-scale battles, the lightsaber is dangerous as it should be. Regular troopers fall in just 1 or 2 strikes, while the more powerful reinforcements can be dispatched in no more than 3 swings. These modes require a strategic approach for lightsaber heroes. Yes, the lightsaber characters are powerful, but against a group of enemies, you can still quickly be overwhelmed. Long-term survival demands 3 things: constant movement, flanking, and smart use of force powers are key to gaining the upper hand. How you approach this, of course, depends on which character you're playing. Every individual hero in Star Wars Battlefront 2 has a unique playstyle. The developers put a lot of effort into ensuring each character plays like their on-screen counterpart, which is clear when watching community updates. Count Dooku excels in one-on-one combat. His abilities, like Duelist, expose weakness, and an extra dash, make him incredibly effective at quickly taking down single targets. However, with lower health and a lightning ability that provides limited crowd control, he is less effective against large groups of enemies. Anakin is an offensive powerhouse. His abilities Heroic Might and Pull Dominance allow him to control the battlefield by pulling enemies toward him, or dealing massive area damage. Yet, he is one of the weaker light side heroes in terms of overall defensive stamina, which can lead to vulnerabilities if his abilities are not timed properly. Obi-Wan, on the other hand, thrives on the defensive, boasting far and away the highest blaster and lightsaber deflection stamina. His abilities, Defensive Rush and Mind Trick, are great for closing the distance on enemies while keeping yourself protected. And All Out Push is great for crowd control and has amazing situational application. Where Obi-Wan is slightly limited is on the offense, where he has average attack stamina and damage output. And finally, there's Darth Vader, who is in many people's eyes the game's strongest character, thriving in both one-on-one duels and in large engagements, while his slower movement speed make him somewhat vulnerable to faster heroes and ranged attacks. He has both high health and damage output, and his abilities Force Choke and Lightsaber Throw give him ranged options and help mitigate his slower movement speed. That, alongside Focused Rage, which increases his own damage output while decreasing incoming damage. Darth Vader is one of the only characters that has no real weaknesses and excels on the front lines in any engagement. Movement as a hero character in Battlefront 2 is very simple, yet extremely fluid and satisfying. You have a base force jump, allowing you to cover large distances and reach otherwise impossible positions, allowing for clever flanking opportunities and quick escapes when in danger. All lightsaber characters also have a dash, allowing them to quickly evade blaster strikes, lightsaber hits, or safely cover distance between them and an enemy. The movement is simple, yet it rewards smart play, and there is a high enough skill ceiling to provide incentive to master the system. You get the point. The lightsaber mechanics in Battlefront 2 are perhaps the most versatile approach to lightsaber combat in gaming. Each character feels like they've been pulled straight from the films, and while the combat is extremely accessible, it provides a high skill ceiling. A big part of this authenticity are the characters' animations, which are absolutely incredible. Every character has unique combos, movement speeds, and even though every character has the same button prompts, they all feel unique. As a Star Wars fan, seeing other heroes or villains on the battlefield really is a special experience. And little touches, like the ability to turn on or off your lightsaber, wear era-accurate attire, and the addition of voice lines and emotes truly add to the authentic feeling the game creates. While today, the lightsaber to lightsaber combat in Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a strong implementation, it wasn't always such a strong feature. Initially, fans were actually quite disappointed with the lightsaber mechanics, specifically in the saber-to-saber engagements. The majority of player frustration was due to a stun mechanic, where if you struck an opponent who was actively blocking, you would be stunned, giving the defender a window of opportunity to counterattack or evade. In theory, the mechanic provided a layer of strategy to the lightsaber duels, discouraging spamming attacks, and rewarding more calculated, skillful play. Yet the end result was a mechanic that completely broke the flow of every lightsaber duel. Duels felt slow and less cinematic, unlike the fast-paced lightsaber fights seen in the movies. In the original system, with the stun mechanic, there was really only one way to win a lightsaber duel, and the first to attack was often put at an extreme disadvantage, and in most cases, would lose the encounter. In order to address these major issues, DICE implemented two main features, a parry mechanic and a refined stamina system. The introduction of a parry mechanic made lightsaber duels much more skill-based and added a layer of strategy to the lightsaber combat, which had previously felt somewhat simplistic, adding a degree of skill where patience and precision were rewarded. Players now had to anticipate their opponent's moves, leading to longer, more intense duels, discouraging mindless aggression, and pushing players to think a few moves ahead. In this clip, you can see how a player who relentlessly spam attacks is quickly countered. The parry mechanic rewarded calculated unpredictability, leading to a far more skill-based combat system. And while parrying made combat feel more tactical, the refined stamina system ensured players had to consider every move carefully, as stamina became a limited resource that could determine the outcome of a duel. In the original system, stamina had a minimal impact on the flow of combat. Players could attack or block without much consequence, resulting in block-off duels, where lightsaber users would end up in a stalemate. Yet, with these new changes, stamina now affected both offensive and defensive actions. Here, characters like Obi-Wan, with his high blocking stamina, and Darth Vader, known for his resilience, thrived with these changes. They could block and counter effectively, giving a more authentic feel to their roles as master duelists. This, combined with the parrying, balanced out duels between offensive and defensive heroes, making fights feel far more dynamic. The updates made modes like Heroes vs. Villains and Hero Showdown a far more fun and exciting experience, and in my opinion, the system was more than robust enough to support a one-on-one game mode. And while such a mode was never officially added to the game, the community's love for the combat system led them to create their own duels in Hero Showdown. Ultimately, the parry and stamina changes made every duel feel deliberate, rewarding, and faithful to the spirit of Star Wars combat, elevating Battlefront 2 to an experience that's as cinematic as it is skillful. By the end of its live service, Star Wars Battlefront 2 offered what many consider the most authentic lightsaber combat system ever created. Its fluid movement, powerful force abilities, and faithful adaptation of every hero and villain's fighting style deliver a truly immersive Star Wars experience. The system works seamlessly across both large-scale game modes and one-on-one duels. Lightsabers feel dangerous, with most troopers falling in just one or two swings, and small details like character emotes, voice lines, and era-specific outfits tie the experience together, creating a battlefield that feels like it was pulled straight from the films. It's this dedication to authenticity and detail that sets Battlefront 2 apart, not only as a defining Star Wars title, but as the best overall lightsaber combat experience in gaming. Thank you for watching. If you're still here at the end, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Last year, I thought Jedi Knight Jedi Academy had the best lightsaber combat, but revisiting Battlefront 2 changed my mind. This video wasn't even supposed to focus on lightsaber mechanics, but I ended up scrapping my initial script after a few hours of gameplay, and here we are. Up next, I'll be diving into the NPC mechanics of Watch Dogs 2. Thanks again for sticking around till the end, and I'll see you in the next one.